we're going to talk about how you can master YouTube playlists and earn more views for free in this step-by-step live tutorial. Now, it is super exciting to be here because if you don't know, playlists are one of the best things on YouTube. They help YouTube and viewers understand what content should be next to one another. Now, if you've never seen a playlist, I want to go ahead and show you what this looks like. So why don't we go and exit full screen and show you what a YouTube playlist looks like. So here is a YouTube playlist. This one is by a channel sponsor, Adobe Express, but I chose this one because I wanted to show how many views it has received. So if you can't see, let me go ahead and zoom in. It has earned 9,512 views on this specific playlist. Now, playlists are huge when it comes to different ways we can earn views, right? So let's get started with what is a YouTube playlist? How can I make one for myself? So whether you are on the homepage of YouTube, you can click create in the top right-hand corner. It'll tell you that you should probably go to YouTube Studio. So you go to Studio, go here. There's a couple of ways you can actually do it, but I'm going to do it from the Studio. I will make YouTube shorts on how to make YouTube playlists for mobile devices, so you should subscribe if you want to see that. But let's go into the YouTube backend, and I'm going to zoom in. Gonna make sure I move things. So on the top right-hand corner, you're gonna see create, and under that, you're gonna see where we can do a new playlist. So what I'm going to do is quickly just put this in full screen. So here you will see make new playlist. Under create, new playlist. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And this is going to bring us back to this view. So we're going to see a bunch of different things. I see Drew Kavanaugh. I see Kenneth Racing. I see Ike. We're having a lot of people. Happy to have you here. We're talking about the power of playlists. So here is where you can create your playlist. Now, your title, your description, visibility matter. One thing you should also know is that this is a longer page. So a playlist title needs to be like a YouTube video title. YouTube playlists are searchable. They should be clear to your viewer what they're about. So if you have made a lot of videos about a common thing, for me, that is Adobe Express, right? So this is my Adobe Express playlist. So if you have videos of a common theme, I see Kenneth Racing is in the chat. So maybe all the times he races on a specific map in Gran Turismo, right? I know Drew Kavanaugh, who's a great artist who does a lot of art in different ways. All the different programs he uses to create art should be in a playlist. A couple of things you should know about YouTube playlists, because I see a lot of people kind of get this wrong. You can never have too many YouTube playlists. YouTube themselves say you can't have too many. Now, there is a limit to some kind, but if you have a group of videos that make sense to be put together, put them together. Because ultimately, YouTube wants you to making playlists that help viewers understand your content, get people watching more, and you should look at playlists a lot like how a musician looks at their albums, right? There could be the standard album, there's the bonus album, there are multiple versions of albums, just how there can be multiple versions of playlists, right? So you should always think, if I'm making a series, that should be in a playlist. So if I have multiple videos talking about the same subject, that should be a playlist. You should have custom playlists of recent videos. So we've talked about this in the past. In fact, I'll put a card on screen for the channel layout one, where we talked about having your channel name, recent uploads, your channel name, popular uploads. And there's ways you can set the order for this. So let's go in, right? So to get here, once again, once you're in YouTube Studio, in the top right-hand corner, click on Create, New Playlist. I appear to be in the way, but you should get the gist, New Playlist. And then there you go. So if you're wondering, hey, I have a couple of videos that are similar, or I'm not sure what to do when it comes to playlists, there's a couple of ways you could do this. You're going to know your content better than anyone. So here's what I would tell you if you're wondering about playlists. If you have multiple videos, same subject, do it. I see from Kenneth Racing, I do that and all my live stream VODs, and now they are in a new guide stream that I started. Amazing, right? So it's a new guide stream. If you have live streams, they should be in a playlist. If you have YouTube shorts, those should be in a playlist. Another mistake I see is people think playlists are only for YouTube videos. you should be having shorts in shorts only playlist, live streams in live streams only playlist. Then you should experiment, have some videos, have some shorts, have some live streams, reiterate, reinforce, right? So if we look here, I'm going to show some examples of the playlists I've made, and this could be a really good starting point. So I have Andrew Can's recent uploads. So if you're going to be creating a playlist, which we should, this is for my recent uploads. So it says Andrew Can recent uploads, creative workflows. And then if you click into this, which we can do by editing the details, and content creation tools. Now, we talked about, creating this playlist, and we could do it here, create the playlist again, and you'll see how this lines up. Title. So this is an existing if you're following along. So my recent one, Andrew Can recent upload. So brand new viewers to my channel know what this is about. Creative workflows and content creation tutorials, right? So I have this where this is manually sorted in YouTube, but I could also set this to date published newest, right? Because there might be some benefit where it's the most recent video I have. I want it above a short. I want it above a live stream. This is all my content, right? So it even says you will see all the different ways that I make content. So you can see Andrew Can's recent upload, stay up to date with Andrew Can and his latest YouTube content, covering everything you need to grow and create on YouTube. This playlist includes, videos and tutorials for YouTube Shorts, for YouTube Shorts, for quick tips and deep dives into YouTube live streams, covering things like SEO and channel optimization. Now, this isn't random. I put keywords in this description. You need to be optimizing YouTube playlists like you would a YouTube video. The more data you can give it, the better. Because what I've noticed about YouTube playlists, and I want to go full screen for this, and if you're watching and you've watched this far, have you already made some YouTube playlists, or are you considering doing them? Have you never done it? I'm always curious to see where people are. But one of the biggest mistakes I see with YouTube playlists is that they'll make a great title, but then they don't put anything in the description. And similar to a YouTube video description, it's title, it's description. You can even have custom playlist thumbnails. Some people don't even know that. So there's a lot you can do. And another reason that playlists are more important on YouTube now than ever is because with the rise of TV, people can watch multiple playlists one after the other. You can make it your own Netflix, your own Disney Plus, your own HBO Max, whatever streaming service of your choice. And that's powerful. YouTube is the #1 thing streaming on TVs, right? So make it easy for your viewers. That's the beauty of a playlist. And I've been using them forever. I've had a lot of success with it, and it can do quite a bit. I see Living with Parkinson says, if you make a playlist titled recent uploads, how many videos do you recommend putting in your top 10 or anything else? No, if it's your recent uploads, put all your recent uploads. If people want to binge, let them binge. You don't need to limit yourself. It should be all your recent uploads. Your actual default one from YouTube has all your recent uploads, right? Now, usually what I've noticed is they'll limit it. If you really want to have a limit, I've noticed it's been about 50 to 100. So that could be a good, but then you're manually adding a lot. The idea of your recent playlist is that it's customizable, searchable, and you can do a little bit more than YouTube's default one. So that's a great question. Now, if we go back to this customization page, another thing we can do on each of these is we can see the videos in the left-hand side in the videos tab. And here you can see, the live stream that if you're watching this live, you'll see it, but you can see some of my videos. You can see there are analytics for playlists. So there's overview, there's total views, there are playlist watch hours, there's total watch hours. And it gives you different data. And I like getting to see this different data, right? Now, if you're curious and you're like, hey, how can I see this data in a different way? Well, there's lots of ways you can get to this playlist data. You can go one by one, like I just did, or if you really want to, which this is what I'd recommend, and I want to show this to really show you the power of a YouTube playlist, is you can go, I'm going to go off screen really quick, go to your analytics, go to content, and then there's the playlist tab. Now here is where this can get exciting and really interesting. So when we are here on a playlist, this is my performance over the last 28 days. Let's go to last 7. This is how many views came to this playlist came to my channel from this playlist. In the last 7 days, I've earned 702 views by re-optimizing this playlist. And I started with this playlist for a reason. It's gotten 157 total views. Total views are regardless of whether they're from the playlist or elsewhere, where views from playlists, if we can get this to hover. Come on, YouTube. Well, it doesn't want to work, but this is specifically views that came from this playlist. So I wouldn't have had 702 views in the last week if this playlist didn't exist. If we go to the last 28 days, that's 1,000 views I wouldn't have if this playlist didn't exist. And that's because YouTube has identified that when people click into this playlist, they watch, and they watch for a while, and they watch different content types. And we can see what is working well. And you can see what is driving, right? So this one is my most viewed recently. It is a full course. It is a live stream replay that was very value packed, just like the one you're watching. And so the idea here is that you want to make sure you're adding your content and that you have it in multiple places. So I wanted to make sure of that. Now, Ike asked a really good question. You can get playlists to auto add, right? Absolutely. We can do that in a little bit, but you're skipping ahead. But yes, you absolutely can do it just like your recent uploads, right? So I think that's one of the things. Another question we have, Andrew, is there an ideal number of playlists? As I said at the top, you can never have too many playlists. It's not going to work against you. YouTube is constantly trying to find fits for your audience. And because YouTube is so good at identifying audience types, you really want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough opportunity to be discovered. I have playlists that have views that I don't necessarily feature on my homepage, but they're earning me views, right? And that's the beauty of the playlist. YouTube says you can't have too many, so don't worry about it. Don't overthink. I think that's another thing, is that a lot of times when it comes to playlists, you know, people are like, how many videos do I need to have in a playlist? I would say ideally minimum of 3, but if you're starting the playlist, that's fine. Go ahead and have 1. You don't have to feature it yet. Build up to it. Give it as much data of what you plan to do. Now, as we go back, I want to go ahead and show some more data here. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind is that playlist, you know, Ike was mentioning there are different ways you can sort and different ways you can do things. So there's default video order. There's also ways you can auto add. So this playlist, I really spent time to describe it. This is Adobe Express tutorials, and I want you to be compelling. You can learn Adobe Express fast and for free. This is a free playlist. It's really valuable. And in these Adobe Express tutorials, notice how I repeat exactly what I titled the video right here. That's not on accident. That is absolutely on purpose. Let's bring me up just a little bit more. I want to make this as readable as possible. And I say, learn how to use this free graphic design tool to create content on your YouTube channel. If people don't know what Adobe Express is, it has a free to use. It is a graphic design tool. These are things that people search for, and I said it in an organic and natural way based on how people were searching. That wasn't random, that was on purpose. And I said, whether you're designing in a web browser or in mobile app, so I could probably say, or in the mobile app. That was, look, I was running quickly on this, but or in the mobile app, Adobe Express is an awesome, powerful, and free resource that can instantly elevate your YouTube brand. And that is true. Now, Adobe Express does have a freemium. This is not, they did not sponsor this video, but this is just a playlist. It's doing very well for me, and I'm showing you how I described it so you can follow along, right? If you have, you're doing tutorials, you should have these. If you do React content, you should have a playlist of that. If you're doing dance classes, you should have a beginner class, an intermediate class, and all of those should be in playlists. Now, next is I talk about other things. I say that you can instantly elevate your YouTube brand. In this playlist, you'll find step-by-step guides for making YouTube thumbnails. And I say to boost click-through rates, I could say, you know, there's multiple ways I could say it. That is just something I noticed that people were searching for. I don't usually like the boost terminology, but you know, sometimes you got to go with where the people are searching. I talk about how you can make YouTube channel banners, customize YouTube avatars, how to remove photo and video backgrounds, how to schedule social media content. So we all of a sudden have so much information, right? And I say start watching now to master Adobe Express and elevate your YouTube channel's visual presence, right? And I do give the context and full disclosure, you know, some of these videos were made before then. I also say that this is from Adobe themselves. I took this from their website to help describe it, and I'll save changes. Now, the beauty of this is there's a couple ways I can edit this. So if I go to videos, and I will leave the full screen here so you guys can, I'll go full screen so you can see everything exactly. And so when I click here, I want to edit this in YouTube. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to take me to what this playlist looks like for YouTube viewers. So I see here that I have this set up as this. Now, there's a couple more things I want to talk about. If you've never seen this page, it's important that we chat about it now. If you haven't ever seen this page, there's so much on it. Now, you can now add custom thumbnails to a YouTube playlist. Now, I don't have one for this one. This is just one of the most clicked and viewed thumbnails for this playlist. What I could do is, because I know that new thumbnail I made, now I keep all my thumbnails in a certain location, so I know which thumbnail is doing really well. And right now it's actually that masterclass YouTube thumbnail playlist, right? So go figure, I could be very meta. I could also do Adobe Express YouTube tutorial. This one probably would make a very solid, compelling, YouTube playlist thumbnail. Gosh, trying not to be overbearing, but you have to also remember that this playlist has a thumbnail already and it's performing this, so I don't touch it, because one thing I wish we did have was kind of click-through rate on playlist thumbnails. They give us, YouTube recently put out, what do you want to see more of? I want more detail and data around playlist. So this starts you off. This has earned 5,000 views, but this has really picked up. This video picked up a lot because of this playlist. So as we go through this, there's a lot of options that matter. Now, I mentioned, if you want to add a playlist, you're going to add a playlist, either your video or all across YouTube. You could edit the settings here. This is a different way to look at it. So we showed it in the back end. Here's your title. Here's your description. Here's your privacy. I would recommend, if you are starting a playlist or you want a playlist maybe for your membership or your Patreon, you should definitely do unlisted. Private is if you are just building it. Now, voting is new. Voting is something where your audience can decide, hey, what's your best? So you could literally make a playlist, share this out and say, hey, I want you to vote on this. Tell me what your favorite video of mine is. Then your audience getting engaged. You're having some fun. Different ways to do it. There are also the three dots here. And here is where you get more playlist settings. I could shuffle this playlist. I don't want to. I could download this playlist. Let's say I want to make another playlist. I could add all two. I could add a collaborator if someone is working on me with a playlist. What if we go to playlist settings? Here is where you can auto add. Now, these are some deep settings. I could allow embedding, meaning if I wanted this playlist on a website, I could allow this or I could not. If I want new videos to show at the top of this playlist, if you are auto adding, this is how you do it. And I can set this as an official series for this playlist. Now, what is an official series playlist, you might wonder? I'm so glad you hypothetically asked. Let's talk about it. So YouTube says that a series playlist allows you to mark the playlist as an official set of videos that should be viewed together. Meaning that when you add videos to a series playlist, it allows other videos in the playlist to be featured and recommended when someone is viewing a video in that series. Now, YouTube will use this, and they may use this info to modify how the views and videos are presented or discovered. I'll make sure to have a link to my source in the description that comes from the Google Help article about it. But, a couple things you'll need for it: a verified account. So you need to verify your YouTube account. One thing to note about series playlists is a video can appear in more than one series playlist. So if you do have a series playlist, you can't feature it in another. And only videos uploaded by you and that you have the rights to can be added to a series playlist. So, going back to Drew Kavanaugh's earlier question is, can you have too many playlists? The answer is, in general, no. But you can only have a certain amount of videos in series playlists, and that is a distinction. So there are so many different things that you can do when it comes to playlists. Now, I will also say that I see the spike on the date is that after you added it in the playlist. I'm assuming this is when we were talking about analytics. That spike is after I re-optimized that playlist, and I did that months ago. And it was something I made a conscious effort on. And don't worry, if you have existing playlists, I'll show you how you can re-optimize them. And we're going deep. We don't go surface level here. If this is your first time, we do in-depth tutorials like this live every Thursday. We do lots of different content, and we talk about how you can earn views naturally using the platform. No snake oil here, just genuine what YouTube best practices recommends. Sometimes there are tools, sometimes there are sponsors. Today, we're just going live because this is something I'm so passionate about. Playlists make the difference in so many channels. And, you know, when you look at a channel page, there are different ways. So I'm not making this a serious playlist. I can explain a little bit why later. But when you go to your channel page, and I don't want to spend too much time on here, but you should feature single playlists. Now, For You is a default one. We've talked about this in channel layout, but my recent playlist, look at that. The description shows up here, and it should be clear to your viewer what it's about. Start your journey. Start your YouTube channel right. Essential 101 Fundamentals. This playlist does really well for me. Join Andrew Can, the definitive step-by-step YouTube 101 playlist. Get better audio quality. You immediately as a viewer know what I'm trying to help you do. Learn how to get better audio quality. Improve audio for YouTube and social media productions. If you didn't know, audio is not 50 is. Ooh, I should. You see, here's the problem. I rush sometimes. But you can see that these descriptions matter. And then this isn't even my top playlist. Some people are like, that's probably coming from your channel page. It's pretty far down. This playlist is just being featured. Now, if you're wondering how many playlists do I have, you can click the playlist tab on your channel and it'll show you every playlist. I have quite a bit, not that many, but I'm always adding more and I'm always learning. And you should always be learning. So I want to go ahead because there's some questions we have in the chat and you might have similar questions. I did notice though, someone noticed that Kermit out here just staring at my soul. You know, we love Kermit in this household. Shout outs to the man from Mississippi, raised, I was raised in Mississippi, not born there, but shout outs to hometown hero Kermit the Frog. I see from Chantel, are you optimizing your thumbnail like name, popcorn, yellow stripe, smile? No, it's whatever the video is. I'm not that good when it comes to it. I actually am decent, but I'm not that deep when it comes to my playlist. It's usually whatever the video title is for my thumbnail. I make that. So when it comes to things, you want to make sure. Anyone using the voting feature on playlists? It's a great question. I haven't personally, but some of the channels I've helped manage and coach, when they use it, their audience is really engaging on that voting feature on playlists. I saw one playlist recently. This was, I can't remember who it was. It was a Let's Player I was watching. And they were like, what's your favorite Let's Play? And they were so smart. They put all their episode 1 of all the series they do. And they put that in the playlist. And people were voting. And it was very interesting to see because then it's letting the audience decide, hey, this is what you should watch. So I'm curious how that'll do for them long term. So the voting option is relatively new. I believe it's been around for a year, Doug, but it is new. Again, playlists, I feel as a feature, YouTube playlists are probably one of the most underrated and underdiscussed features on platform. They have been around forever, so a lot of times people overlook them, but you can curate the viewing experience of your content. You can look up big general terms, broad terms, make that your playlist title, have more specificity in the playlist, and that serves your audience. So there's a lot you can do. And then no snake oil from Andrew. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. So I see, is series playlist a new feature? No, actually. And this is important. It's been around for a while. And I'm talking a long time, but not enough people cover YouTube playlists. That's why we're here live today. Voting feature. Yes, you can vote. I've never heard of this feature. I'm not sure if voting or YouTube playlists. A year sounds about right, says Doug on voting. I have a lot of playlists hoping TV takes off. Well, TV already has taken off. That's something we should talk about in how you can see where your playlists are being viewed. And in fact, I'm not going to make you wait. Let's go today. No delay. Right away. Man, now I'm just quoting over there. All right, videos. So how do I know where my playlist is being viewed? Well, playlists have their own analytics. So under analytics, we go to playlist. Then, as you can see, views from playlists. Well, no, you can't because I'm in the way, but you got to trust. 1 second. As you can see, 1,048 views of this playlist, right? I've gotten 34, and this is over the last 28 days. If I go over the last 90, I can see that I have different videos showing up. This one's starting to show up over the last 90 because I recently re-optimized this one. This one has 117 because some of my more popular ones are how to get audio. And if you notice, total views, regardless of where they start from, this playlist has more, total views is how many views in total. And This is my recent playlist. People are like, this one may not get the most views, but majority of my viewers have seen content in this playlist. Similarly, this playlist I don't feature anywhere, but it gets shown in search, it gets shown in different locations, and grow on YouTube in less than 60 seconds. It's a YouTube Shorts playlist. That's the kind of hook. And then we have a couple of others, so you can see how they kind of play into it. And then this acoustic foam panels isn't on my homepage, but it gets people in and it gets people watching multiple. So how do I see this data? I'm going to click on this one. And then in the analytics page, we can go to audience. And you can see that some of my playlists are actually gaining content. And here's device type. So this one is doing pretty well on mobile phone, computer, but TV is rising. And if we go over the, last 90 days, we can see further. If we go last 365, like TV is slowly rising through the ranks as TV is becoming more and more popular. In the last 7 days, 8.8%. That's not nothing. You can see the top geographies. You can see that most of the people viewing these playlists are not subscribed. And there isn't, because it's only 7 days, there's not really enough data there for like the age demographic breakdown. But again, to get there, you go to YouTube Studio, Analytics, Playlist, find your playlist. We'll go to this one. And then you can see, so views from playlists, you can see where it spiked. I actually re-optimized this a while ago. I can't remember the exact day. I could probably find it. Let's go with last 90. Maybe it's clear. I think I actually optimized it I remember it was early January, but look at how it's done since re-optimizing it. And that's reworking on the title, the description. These views from playlists is now 1,500 views. If I told you right now that by just re-optimizing and having some thought to your playlist, you could get 1,500 extra views on your channel, would you do it? I'm curious. Some people would be like, no, I understand. I'm obviously going to be doing it because it works. And again, it is remembering you're making a playlist is serving your audience. So my question for you watching, whether you're watching live or in the replay, is what is the last playlist you made and what was the content about? For me, I can tell you my last playlist I made, and I'm not going to make you wait. Don't worry. So the last playlist I made was actually involving, let's go out, go to playlist. Last playlist I actually made was for YouTube SEO and growth strategies, get more views and watch time. Now, the idea behind this is I have a lot of playlists that are about YouTube SEO, and they feature some growth strategies to get more views and watch time. I could change this, but I put get more views because people searched. I could say earn, because I would more likely say earn more views and watch time. So I could do that. Another thing I want to make sure I'm doing is showing you can get the default order. So we have date published newest, oldest, most popular. I have it manually, and I'll show you why I set it manually in just a second here. You can select a language for your description and title. This is helpful if you are trying to get other things in other languages, trying to make sure this is super good. You can also have multiple languages for the description. So this is a newer playlist, but it did get 1 view so far. And, I'm not too upset by that. I'm going to let it sit. I could probably add more things in here, master the fundamentals of YouTube. I could probably say in this playlist, you'll learn how to do the following. How to do keyword research for free. How to A/B test YouTube thumbnails. How to generate YouTube captions easily. And I could go more in depth, but for now, I'll give this. And again, the idea is this is the last playlist I made. I'm still making playlists, but I don't want to leave you in the dark here because there's something you can do. Now, if you watch this channel for a while, you'll know that analytics hold the keys to the answer we seek. If you are wondering, hey, I have some videos, I don't know what I should make in playlists. I made a lot of content. Well, if you have access to a very helpful feature called Ask Studio, we're going to take this to go really big, and I want to make sure. So here's what we're going to do. If you're just joining us, thank you for watching. And if I noticed we had a big influx live, and if you're watching the replay, thank you. We are going to show you how, if you have a lot of content and you have access to this feature, it is in beta, and I know some people don't. We're going to show you how to do it with and without. We're going to use Ask Studio, which does help a lot here. So if you don't know where Ask Studio is, on your YouTube Studio dashboard, you are going to very quickly just go over to, one moment, I'll move myself over here. So in YouTube Studio, we are going to go to the Ask Studio button. Hello, how can I help you? What I want it to do is, I have a lot of videos. LOL. I don't usually talk to this like this, but let's have some fun live. Help me based on themes, topics, and which videos viewers watch the longest to make a playlist that can help me get more views and watch time. Now, if you guys would like these prompts, let me know. I am curious. Sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. Now, sometimes this gets it out of the park. It's AI, as YouTube says down here. AI can make mistakes, so double check. And sometimes it's just like, I don't know what you're asking me to do. Please work. YouTube Studio, oh, we hope you work today. But if it doesn't, it's okay. There's another way to do this. Aha. Hello, Andrew. I see you have a great collection of videos, and organizing them into playlists is a fantastic strategy. It's going to be agreeing with me. So based on performance of your videos, and it's giving me when it is, and I can manually check this if I want, a clear and dominant theme emerges. So I'm curious what it thinks my clear and dominant theme is. Top performing videos. Your top performing videos are around audio and acoustic treatment. That's not surprising. Theme, audio and acoustic treatment. So it's saying these are some very high performing when it comes to watch time. That is not surprising. I have that on my channel already. But, I gave it, this is a prompt for if I never have made a playlist. It's a very generic playlist theme. Secondary, high engagement themes, YouTube creator tools and guides. So interesting. This is a blind spot for me. I do talk a lot about creator tools and guides, and I don't know if I've actually made a playlist where I just put them all in one place. So look, I'm still learning too. I've never been shy about that. So maybe this is actually a really good playlist for me. And sometimes, look, I'll be real. This is an obvious one that I overmissed, right? Because sometimes we complicate things. I'm not above it. Look, I always say if I can, you can too, right? So give it the shot. See what it's saying for you. But, Beanie says, sure, you don't normally talk like that. I was in the market for some snake oil today, says Chantal. Sorry, not here. But, maybe if there was a playlist, maybe you actually, sell some real genuine snake oil. And I'm not talking about the scam. I'm talking about oils coming from snakes. But, as we go here, we're back to this. This is actually a really good idea. So topics on growth and guidelines, such as YouTube channel guidelines, set the tone. So it's recommending master YouTube audio setup. So it's giving me two different ones. I actually think this YouTube creator tools and theme is so obvious, but again, you sometimes can miss those obvious ones, right? So I already have one about acoustic foam. I don't think it makes sense to make another one, but topics on the growth, I could definitely do that. So here it is, master your YouTube and audio studio setup. Maybe I'll try it, but it's saying 3. And it's saying what I told you, great title and description. It says I could pin it prominently on my channel homepage. Use end screens. I'm going to tell it, I really like this idea. Help me come up with a YouTube friendly title and description. Help recommend videos for this playlist, and then explain your logic. I want this playlist to be easy for YouTube to recommend, and I also want this playlist to show up in search and AI recommendations. Now, this might be a lot. This is just, it would be how I prompt. This is not the gospel on prompting. That's not what we are here for, but you're getting into my mindset on how I would do this when I'm looking at videos and I'm looking at themes. And again, this is a blind spot for me. This is an obvious theme in hindsight, right? But hindsight's 2020. I don't want to go back there. I don't know if anyone does. But something went wrong. No! It was doing so well. That's the beauty. We'll try again. Sometimes, sometimes I can type fast, sometimes I overwhelm. Come on, second time's a charm. But while it's trying again, I want to go ahead and see if anyone's got any questions, anything we can do to help here today. And again, if you're joining, thank you for being here. So, too much mobile studio, got to get on the desktop again. Yes, one thing I will say, and this is an unfortunate thing, but it's true. If you're only using YouTube Studio on mobile devices, you're only using a certain percentage of it. To get the full experience, if you have access to a desktop computer, please use YouTube Studio on desktop. Or if you only have a mobile phone, go and open it in a browser, whatever browser, go to desktop mode. It does have a lot of the same functionality, not one-to-one, but there are ways you can still use it if you're mobile first. So that's something I would keep in mind. Another thing I would also say is that, playlist and making them, you can do it on your mobile device. It's not as intuitive and it's not as easy. And again, I understand YouTube has a lot to balance and juggle, but it is there. And like I said, I will be making some shorts on how to add playlists. I'll make sure once I make them to link them in the description of this video. So if you're watching mobile, you can. All right. In real life, Andrew talks to the AI like, hear me now. What? No, not at all. Andrew, if you see TV analytics, this video, it's me. Well, thank you. And also crazy. Thank you for watching on the TV. Hello, Kathy's living room. Ask Studio is brainstorming titles for me. That's another use case for it. But it could also do titles for your playlists. It could do descriptions. So, now here's the thing. And this is what I'll tell you when you're using AI. That's a fantastic idea. Yeah, it was yours, Ask Studio. What are you talking about? I appreciate it, but I'm giving the credit to you. So YouTube Creator Tools and Guides playlist is exactly what many aspiring creators search for, making a great assistive. And it says last based on it is YouTube Creator Tools Ultimate Guide to Growth, SEO, and Production. Oh, that's not bad. YouTube Creator Tools establishes the core topic for search and AI understanding. Fair enough. Ultimate Guide signals comprehensive value. I don't know if I'd put Ultimate Guide. I think that's a little overselling. And look, I understand this is an AI. Its job is to be my hype man. I'm not here for that. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. But I also want to be realistic and authentic to my viewers. I feel like Ultimate can be overused a lot of times. So I'm very mindful of the word choice I do use. So just again, some food for thought. Whenever you are using this kind of stuff, you want to make sure, is it reality? So the all-in-one playlist for every, oh man, that, like I said, it can oversell, and that's why it's not perfect. Clearly outlines, it explains why. It says, based on watch time, I've selected best performing, why you're not getting views. And it's giving me what videos to put in. And it's giving me multiple. I have so far 10. And it says narrative flow for watch time. The playlist is structured like a multi-part course, guiding creators from the most painful problem, lack of views, to the solutions, SEO, thumbnails, and it's using watch time. Every video selected here is a proven winner. It's using my data. Now, I could do this without using Ask Studio. It's a lot more manual, but this is where I like AI to be an assistive tool. Now, I will tell you, so far, every video there, it's pretty spot on. I know my channel well enough. I'm not afraid of this. Now, here's another thing. Playlists show up in YouTube search results, and the system looks for the playlist title and description. So this is exactly what I was telling you. This is from YouTube themselves. By front-loading it with high-intent keywords, growth, SEO, guide, tutorial, signal to the system exactly what the content. Now, I don't like how it says to the system because you're signaling to the audience. Ironically, YouTube themselves say wherever you have algorithm or algorithmic system, replace it with audience. Come on, YouTube, make sure your tool is doing that too, but I get it, right? It's trying to be appealing and understanding to general audiences. Makes sense. So while I do not necessarily love this title, I do think it's got some legs, right? And I'm curious on why it gave me an emoji. Maybe because I've put some emojis in titles past. I think this one doesn't. Yeah, this one doesn't, but you know, whatever. Now, I want to go back to the beginning, back to the start. Another way you can make a playlist, actually. So, you can also make playlists from the YouTube homepage here. If you didn't know, now you know. The way you do this is you would click on the three dots here, or the hamburger menu, go to playlist. And this will show you your recently added playlist. This will show you what you own. So there are multiple ways you can make a new playlist. You could use your existing playlist. You could look here. You could view the full playlist. You could go home and then you can go to your channel. So I wanted to show you where your playlists live, but on your own channel, if you click these three dots, add a queue, save to playlist. From here, I can make a new playlist. It'll also tell me what playlist it's already in. So that's just another way that you can make a YouTube playlist. But like I said, I like to go to YouTube Studio by clicking here. Go to YouTube Studio. Let's go to Content, Create, New Playlist, and boom. So, YouTube Creator Tools. Now, I did keep this so I didn't lose it. So I do have this in multiple tabs. So apologies. I know we're switching a bunch, but I hope you get what we're going for. So if you're just joining us, because I see we got some more people, we are making a new YouTube playlist. You do not need Ask Studio to do this. You could look at your YouTube analytics and find the best performing videos and a theme and add them to a playlist. And the title and some of the ways we're doing this is how you can do it yourself, right? Like a lot of what we're talking about is not super, difficult to do. And in fact, it can be super beneficial to you. So already, right? Like if you're watching this, I challenge you, make a playlist with me. Don't just let this be something you have on in the background, right? Like let's make this playlist together. Now, I am covering this because I want to go ahead and show off this, right? So now, where are we? We are going to be taking the recommendations from Ask Studio. And if you're curious if these are good recommendations, because trust me, I get it. Sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it gets it wrong. You could always join our Discord server. We'll have a link in the description. But this is where I've added this. Now, I don't understand its logic, but the brackets, and I don't know if I would capitalize YouTube Creator Tools, but I will say YouTube Creator Tools, and I'll just go ahead and, you got to keep it true to you. I wouldn't capitalize it like that. YouTube Creator Tools. And I would say a helpful guide to YouTube growth, SEO, and production. I'm not sure if I'd say production, but we'll experiment, right? We're going with what YouTube said. I'll leave that there. We'll keep a little emoji for it. Why not? Do you add emojis to your playlist title? Let me know. I sometimes have. I haven't found it to be that much of a deal breaker, make or breaker, but I'm always curious. I also see we may have some more questions. I believe if you use Firefox on mobile in desktop mode, you can get most of the settings. Bigger screens are advised. A tiny layout is hard to read on mobile. Yes, but it is a workaround. So I understand there are some people out there who can't afford a computer. Look, when I started YouTube way back in the day, I was on a shared laptop. I didn't have my own computer. I loved it, but I had designated time, right? And this was before smartphones were as smart as they are. So it goes to show, right? Another thing you can think about capitalizing is to 2019 clickbait style, I think, as we're working on these things, it's important to remember, right, what is the value to a viewer? And that's what I'm thinking. Like, this is a easy topic for me because I do talk a lot about these things, right? Now, another thing I will say as I'm looking here, there we go. Why this works is talking about what it is. And it's giving me a pretty long YouTube playlist. So, description. And now I'm copying this over. We bring it back. We bring me back. So it's saying the all-in-one playlist. And for every YouTube creator. That is too much of a promise. This is not how I would ever describe this. I would say I would repeat YouTube, this creator tools. Let's do this how I'd actually do it. This YouTube creator tools playlist is a helpful guide. Learn how to use essential YouTube Studio tools, YouTube Studio, and YouTube creator tools to grow your, and again, I'm going to add YouTube channel as much as I can. That is a target keyword I'm working on. Get more views and increase your watch time. From mastering SEO for beginners and designing click-worthy thumbnails to setting channel guidelines and verifying your account, this guide covers everything you need. Stop guessing and start growing. That last claim's a little bit broad, but I do know my content, and a lot of what it does do in this that it recommended is good. And it said videos include YouTube SEO and algorithm strategy, designing thumbnails for free, adding closed captions and subtitles, channel features, eligibility verification, production tips for better audio. That's pretty accurate. And then I can add my videos here, and we're going to see what it was telling me to add. And we'll go back to here. And it's telling me why it works. And it's telling me all these things. But you know, it serves as a mini sales pitch, is explaining the description. And here's the videos, why you're not getting views, why your YouTube channel isn't growing. Interesting, it's recommending a SEO, kind of channel feedback video I did. Which, if you would like another SEO/channel review kind of stream, let me know. So, because of that, why you're not getting views, it said to add. That's our first video. And now, here's the fun part. If I want, it thankfully links out to these. Why your YouTube channel isn't growing. Right? So that's our next one. Why your YouTube channel isn't growing. Free video feedback. That's a very helpful one. All of these make sense. None of these are really surprising to me. But as I'm doing this, I really do mean this, that I want your feedback. I want your stuff. So we're going to keep going through. If you have questions, let me know. YouTube SEO tutorial for beginners is the next one. All of these actually make sense to me. YouTube SEO tutorial for beginners. This one is a very popular video of mine. Oop, I'm going to just close out of this for now. YouTube thumbnail full course. Interesting, the full course is coming back. Another reason I may not add that here. And then make a YouTube channel banner fast. So this is another thing people would need to do, channel banner fast. There we are. And you see how this playlist is taking shape. I will definitely report back in my Discord and how this is doing. And then it's saying surprisingly easy, how to add closed captions. That makes sense. Then it says my YouTube channel guidelines. And again, this playlist may not work. It may work, but at least I'm testing. Always be testing. How I got verified next. How I got verified. And I'll put that one. It's older, but it's a goodie. And then it says better audio. There's this one. And then finally, it's saying Opus Clip, trending tool. Interesting. But, let's see what it says. And then maybe I could add in this one instead. So this is where that's a long video. But if people are, looking for this free caption tool, there's that one. I could also do SEO. There's another SEO secret I have, which is captions matter. And then, I could do these two. And these are free things. And I'll add these. We have our 11 videos. I know it gave me 10, but I'm still the creative here. I'm just following my heart here and what I think would work. Maybe I put, this is YouTube creator tools easy. Because a lot of these are easy YouTube creator tools, a helpful guide to YouTube growth. Perfect. And then I'll just put, English. Now, interesting when it comes to English, I'm going to put freedom American English and we'll create this playlist. And now I have a brand new playlist. Notice how it didn't have any shorts, but that's okay. It's all based on the data. If I go to the analytics on this, it's going to have nothing for views from playlists, but I can see the total views and I can see the watch time hours. It said these are some of my most watched, and look at those watch time hours, right? So now we have a new playlist that is designed, in theory, based on what gets people watching and keeps them watching, to do pretty well for us. And that was something that didn't exist. Using, YouTube. Yes, exactly. You want to repeat your keyword. You want to make sure. When it comes to your YouTube playlist, you want to repeat keywords organically in your title, in the description. Heck, they should be in the video titles of that playlist themselves. YouTube cross-references your YouTube playlist title, your YouTube description, those keywords there, and actually look at the keywords that are in the video titles in the playlist. So they all come together to make it easier for YouTube and viewers to see the content they want to see. So we talked about how you can do it that way. Another way you could do this is if you go into analytics and you can sort and look at what videos are my most watched. I could make an Andrew Can most watched videos playlist and then see which one, or one, the most watched, and I can sort by that, and two, which ones have the best average view duration, which ones get people to subscribe, and then maybe I could say that, community favorites. And really what it's doing is telling me which ones are the most subscribing, which ones are getting people to subscribe. So, when it comes to a YouTube playlist, they're often undervalued and overlooked. And I really wish more people talked about it. That's why I made this long form tutorial that you can watch and replay. And so if we go here, right, I want to look at all the different playlists that I have. There are some that I'm definitely going to be updating to try a couple of different things. But overall, with using the tools for free, I've gotten to a much better place with how my audience looks at the content, how they look at my playlist, and some of these views. If I told you that what could be, being the difference between 1,000 extra views a month is just a better optimized playlist, and people who watch this playlist, they watch it for a long time and they subscribe. Like the content here, 22 subscribers from the 100% more in the last previous days. This is 1.8K unique viewers that are here on the channel, right? And all this is doing is helping me get a better understanding of what's working for my audience, what my audience expects. And again, when you do this right, you get people interested, you get people caring. And I want you to care about your YouTube playlist. If you are watching, please share in the comments down below. Have you made a new YouTube playlist? I'm Andrew Can. If I can make a new YouTube playlist, you can too. Click that video on screen if you want to learn more about how YouTube works. And thank you all so much for joining me live or in the replay. Take care, everyone.